That's good.
Honey.
Yep, yep.
I got your 2 hot maples too.
All right. Thank you so much. Hey, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Excuse me. Excuse me. I want to bother you. I'm sorry. I do want my pancakes a little more brown.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
tell
just
him.
especially the crispy, the edges. Okay. Hey, y'all. Good morning. Let me see. How are you guys? I am. I'm doing well. I was pretty tired this morning, but I think I just needed some more breakfast. I had a very light breakfast this morning, like a bowl of cereal or something, just light. And you all know I'm a breakfast chick. And so after I dropped my daddy off at dialysis, I passed Cracker Barrel and I said, I'm going to Cracker Barrel today. Yes, you know I can make my own pancakes. You know that. But I wanted some Cracker Barrel syrup today. And sometimes, you wake up and you feel some kind of way. And so I didn't really feel like a big cooked breakfast this morning. I didn't feel like doing it. I was doing other things in the kitchen. Took my aunt to the airport and then took my daddy to dialysis. So, yeah, there's something to be said about having the freedom to choose how you want to spend your day. And I've been spending a lot of days in reflection mode. Just because there's always, thank you, hon. There's always something that you can be planning for, something you can be thinking about, something you can redo, enhance, change up, reroute, you know. So anyway, I woke up this morning because hey viewer, good morning. Probably because I could not. No, I slept well. I can't say I didn't sleep, but I went to bed with something on my mind and woke up with something on my mind. Isn't that bacon perfectly crisp? I asked them for crispy bacon, not burnt, but crispy. So I think about how when I was principal, I was always in planning mode. Year end, you're in planning mode for the next year. And you have all these meetings on your calendar. You have a schedule that's already built for you for the next year. And this year, it feels so good knowing that we're leaving out of 25, going into 26. And I have a calendar full of trips that people have requested. And I'm just glad to know that there are people out there who recognize that you have to find balance somewhere, right? How many of you know that? Hey, Taryn. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Taryn. I appreciate you. I didn't do anything to it this morning, honey. Literally. No curls, just flat. But I appreciate you, Taryn. Where are you at? Where are you chiming in from? So I'm just really grateful that when I put out my whiteboard this morning, it was literally me creating a 12-month grid and writing in each month from January to December of 26. And I have 11 trip requests. And most of them are very big. Y'all go and like and subscribe for me, please. Because I'm going to be sharing so much. It doesn't matter what field you work in. 9 times out of 10, you're going to take a vacation, right? And I want to show you how to do it. Most of you probably already book your own anyway. But I'm an insider, so I book and I earn commission for it. That's so much better than just planning for another meeting to talk about the same things that we talk about every year in schools, and then things don't get better. Sometimes you have people in there just playing school, getting up every day going, not really focused on making improvements, just there to socialize. So I plan trips that actually allow you to socialize. So think about that. I think I put those questions in my description. Okay, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And who do you want to be? Let me tell you where I want to go. I want to go anywhere a cruise ship goes, okay? I'm sorry, I'm eating my breakfast at Cracker Barrel. I want to go anywhere a cruise ship is going. I don't really care if it's going back to the Bahamas. I'll go again because I love the food in the Bahamas. There we go. That's what I need right there. Thank you. See, now y'all know when I cook my own pancakes at home. This is a butter knife. Well, it'll do. When I cook my own pancakes at home, I need to see some brown on the edges. You know, anybody else feel like that? I need mine to have crispy edges. Yeah, all of that. She brought them out here. They were as light as my eggs, and you know. And I'm never rude. I just ask them, can you please just make sure they brown them a little more for me? So why didn't I stay home and do my own? Because I didn't want to. And that's the joy of being an entrepreneur. Hi, Ognabula. Did I say it right? I pride myself on getting people's names right, y'all. Y'all go and subscribe to my channel, The Fire Principle. Because the life after is definitely one to be admired, one to enjoy, actually. I love educators. I love talking to educators. But sometimes I don't want to talk about school stuff anymore because it can give me a headache, you know? I never get a headache when I'm talking about booking trips. So where do you want to go? Where's your next trip? Oh my God, they're so good today. Thank you. Sometimes y'all, you just gotta find your happy place. And today my happy place is Cracker Barrel today. We were supposed to have a big snowstorm today here in Milwaukee, but it didn't come the way they said it was, once again. But where do you want to go? That's my question. What do you want to do? You know what I want to do? You know, when I got let go, I started getting phone calls from all these other schools who said they were looking for a principal. And I said, well, I pray that you find one, but it's not me. And I remember having a conversation with my father-in-law. And I said, Dad, you know how sometimes you may not know exactly what you may not know what you want to do, but you know exactly what you don't want to do? How many of you, like, understand when I say that, right? I may not know what I want to do, but I know what I don't want to do. And I don't want to go back into a school principal role and just do everything that the people above you want you to do and not really have a care in the world about what's going on for real with the kids. They showed me who they were, you know. So I don't want to do that again. But I do want to teach. I'm still a teacher. I want to teach adults who want to go into education because they aren't being totally prepared for what they're going to step into, especially if they're going into urban ed. So I'll do that, but it's excellent. Everything is excellent. Thank you.
I'm just leaving the check.
I'm in my happy place.
But I'm not deserting. I'm still here.
Okay, honey.
honey?
Thank you. Thank you. Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that compliment? Yeah. Yeah. Well, they didn't say why. They had to make up something. But I ticked off my boss. I almost said something else. I ticked off my boss. I told her she would never disrespect me ever again because I missed the deadline and she yelled at me about it. And then I submitted what was due the next morning, and I told her she didn't have to yell. You know, then she emailed me, and I emailed her back, and I kind of gave her receipts and such of how she was wrong on some things and didn't like it, you know, so they let me go. It was really a personal conflict between she and I, so, you know, it happens. It happens to those of us who are strong and not a yes man or yes woman, you know. Ognabula. Hope that makes sense. But I was about to say something else. I was on the road. Oh, you know what you don't want to do, and you know what you want to do. So I had this business, even while I was a principal. I had my travel business, and it was so therapeutic knowing that when the weekend comes or the break time comes, I not only had a trip booked, but it was a trip that I booked, I planned for me and my family, and I was going to come home to my own commission check. Like that was exciting to me, and I'm just glad I started working on that while I was still working my plan A. Because, you know, many times people will start something new after they've gotten let go. Now they're kind of like in panic mode. I already had my business, so I just said I'm just going to work on that. And it's been such a blessing ever since, you all. And then, who do you want to be? I want to be that person that's a reminder to so many people, the same way I was as a trainer, a principal, an educator, and still to this day, some of the same sentiments ring. I want to be that person that reminds people that the position you're in shouldn't make you. You should make the position that you're in, right? You've heard me say it. Some of you may have heard me say this before. The principal position didn't make me. I made the position. And so, shout out to my mother-in-law, my mother-in-love. She really wants me to start my own school. Hi, Dolores. She really wants me to start my own school, and I don't. Some days I feel like yes, and most days I'll say no. I say yes because I know what type of school I would have and the impact it would have on children and families alike and teachers. But I say no because there's such a shortage of strong, I pause intentionally, such a shortage of strong teachers. And I actually used the word solid when I talked about this once before. I said, there's such a shortage of solid teachers. And I remember some people asking me, who I was at the table with, well, define solid. And I turned the question back on them. I said, you define solid. If it has to be defined, you tell me what you think a solid teacher is. And I said, better yet, name 5 solid teachers that you know in this city. That if you had a choice to hire them at your school, you would bring them on. And between both of the young ladies who were talking to me about this, they couldn't come up with 5. I said, see my point? I'm not talking about your friends. I'm not talking about people who think they can teach. I'm talking about the people who can teach, who have receipts, who have results. I'm the female version of Joe Clark, and anybody who's ever been under my leadership, my students, my parents, my staff, they can tell you that. I'm looking for people like that. I would be looking for people. Thank you, Taryn. Taryn, where are you? I feel like we should be friends. We could talk forever. Where do you reside? What city? But there are not a lot of people out there like that anymore. Some people are getting into education because they can. As long as you have a degree, you can go and teach. There's such a shortage. They'll hire you if you have a degree. And in some cases, if you just tell them you want a degree or gonna go get one, you'll get hired. And the unfortunate thing is that gives you just a whole slew of people who are coming in for a sure paycheck, but don't really have true passion for the craft. They don't have it. And I don't want to be in a position like that anymore. Okay, Michigan. I'm in Wisconsin, so we share sentiments of the cold weather in this month, right? I don't know if that's where you are now, but you understand the cold. But I am born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I've lived all over, not all over, but lived in the Midwest.
Honey, when you're ready to go, I can make you lemonade to go if you want. Okay.
You know what? I'll take an ice water now, though. Oh, that's some sweet lemonade. Lord have mercy. Okay, so anyway, my point in my questions this morning is because when I got up, I went to bed sending quotes out and woke up to some of their responses and people being ready because people want to be out here. They want to get outside. They want to explore the world. Take your children on a trip. Come on, Taryn. I had a student who was such a beautiful girl. Her name was Taryn. That's perfect. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, you too. She's a sweetheart. It isn't just a job. These are children that are being shaped into adults. The teachers need to be vetted more. Exactly. Sometimes I go into schools now, you all, as a consultant, and I see some of the people who are in there. That's why I say that's another part, I guess another way we can kind of shape my questions this morning. What do you really want to do? Stop going to take a job that you don't want to do. Somebody was calling. Stop doing things you don't really want to do, Fine. I used to tell my teachers that you should do this if you're happy. And when you get to a place where you're not happy, you should go find your happiness somewhere else. Isn't that fair? Some people don't like my truth because they can't handle my true statements sometimes. Like, if this isn't what you want to do, go and do something else. And see, I had to do that. Very recently, I was working with some people that I absolutely love and adore. And I started finding myself sitting there like, this is not really what I want to do. And I don't want to do anything just because somebody's paying me, Not at this age, y'all. I'm 47. And at 47, I want to do things that are meaningful to me. Like taking my father to dialysis 3 days a week. That's meaningful to me. Because people go through that journey, y'all, and they can be very sad and they won't say anything, especially men. But, my father's been feeling good. He told me this morning, you spoiling me driving me here every day. Because he was driving himself. And when he got a little sick last week, I said, I'll take you. I don't want him driving dizzy, That's a time freedom flex, right? And that's why I had to ask myself, On days that he's at dialysis, I may have been at the contractual position. But then on the days that he didn't have dialysis, I was still there. And I said, I don't want to be here when my daddy is at home. I need to be spending time with him. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? And that's why waking up with 11 big trip requests to put on my calendar for 26, I know I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm in the right business space as an entrepreneur who has her own travel business, who can work on her own time. Like that's a real flex for me. I don't want to go and have to ask for permission to care for my father. Something happens with my family. Oh, I can't go because I gotta work. No. And the thing is, I know we have jobs. Our jobs did me very well. But you never, I remember when I had a music teacher when I was principal in St. Louis. And her husband was ill, terminally ill. And she had run out of days. I told her, don't worry about your job. It'll be here. And I never made her feel like her job was in jeopardy because she had to go to the hospital and be with her husband. Can you imagine being put in a predicament like that? Oh, wait a minute. This is totally off. Well, let me finish that. Then I'm going to go back to a random thought. I don't ever want to imagine having to choose my job over my spouse, my job over my parent, or my job over my children, right? Think about that. If a job knows that your spouse is dying and your job is jeopardized because you have to decide if you're going to spend your final days with your loved one or not, honey, that's a whole conversation you need to have with them and yourself. So, back to the random thought. Remember when the waitress came over and I said, did y'all hear that compliment? She complimented my earrings. The other day I went live talking about these earrings, about how I can wear these every day. These are my church, I call them my church earrings. And y'all, I got on a sweatshirt, some yoga pants, and some Ugg boots. So it doesn't matter that I'm not like dressed up. I'm gonna put these dressy earrings on. I wear them in the gym, and that's where my live was the other day. I was in the gym, and I said, who works out in church earrings? Me. Why? Because I'm 47 and I can. That's why. I just told my friend Carmen that, am I talking loud? No, I know I'm not talking loud, but it ain't that many people in here. They probably think I'm talking to myself. I told my friend Carmen, I'll be 48 next month. And I'm going to plan my 50th birthday cruise early. So I have 2 years to plan it. So everybody who wants to go, they can be ready to go. Because I'm going with or without them. I do that now though. That is not strawberry lemonade. It's raspberry or something. Ugh. I don't like that. But that's all right. Everything else was good. I'll give him that. I'm glad Cracker Barrel has picked their game back up. Because they used to be the bomb back in the day. And then they started falling off. You would come in here and the dirty dish container was all on top of the tables. What is going on? So I can't eat here. But they've really stepped it back up. Go Cracker Barrel. Taryn, are you in Detroit? Or near Detroit? I like how you interact. I like how you talk. You got good sense. I got something I want to share with you. Something we're doing in Detroit tonight, actually. You might want to check it out. Those of you who hear this, if you want to know how to make additional monies and then have the free time that you desire for you and your life and your family, you all send me a little message and I'll tell you what we're doing. I'll show you. I can show you better than I can tell you. You ever heard that? Your mama ever said that to you? I'm sure. I'm so sure they did. She set me in the perfect spot to people watch. To see the people. Oh, that water is nasty. Tastes like the ground. Like sewage. But I so need some water. But not that water. What I need is my new couch. That's what I need. I should go get it today, right now, when I leave here. This water is nasty, but I still want some. Oh, so nasty. All right, y'all, let's roll. Let's get out of here. Okay, well, figure out where you want to go, what you want to do, and who you want to be, and then let me know when you're ready to chat.